It's Sunday, the 5th of November, and it's 12:23. And for the purpose of the United Nations knowledge and awareness of the human rights abuses I'm experiencing in the southwest of Ireland, I'm going to upload regarding the ongoing issue of exacerbation and retaliation against the recovery and reforms that I've experienced. Now, as I've mentioned, my hierarchy of needs have been offended, my royal titles have been offended, and my contributions to Irish society and abroad have been offended. So I'm just going to concentrate on a few basics of the hierarchy of our needs that we all have entitlements to, and the issue of disinformation and misinformation and the broadcast of messages that is out there that isn't realistic or grounded in reality. The issue of disinformation is very misleading, and it makes us question and query the credibility of people portraying a message that isn't honest, trustworthy, and if it's not trustworthy, it's not really safe to work with. So there have been distrustful circumstances caused against my good name, character, and reputation in initiatives that are broadcasting a bad message, a poor message, a distrustful message, and it's disrespecting the hierarchy of needs, and it's disrespecting people's education, and it's disrespecting people's intelligence. It's only a very short time ago that there were big strides and big moves made from a place of contamination to a place of cleanliness, and in between there was my child and I. So this issue of society being cleansed is a part of my humanitarianism. There has been health and safety, and I've worked in the entertainment and arts industry for a long time in food safety and hygiene. So the idea of cleanliness and godliness is coming into play. But in the meantime, we have a hierarchy of needs, and we have an issue as well around people's recipe for disasters and people's recipes for rescuing health and wealth. Now, there's been a lot of creative intellectual property theft, and there are ongoing issues to continue assaulting progress. And it's quite interesting that the people that have prospered from my faith and my family name are the very culprits that are darkening doors without their debts being paid. It's very embarrassing what's going on. But these people have financially gained from me. And as I put up an urgent appeal there, the issue of people not paying their debts is an awful burden. I don't want young children being put in a place to carry it all. I wouldn't like the toll of a debt hanging over any child. But if people are choosing to be of evasion, that's another matter. The point of this matter is hierarchies and any fraud regarding Brexit or COVID-19, because as I've said, I've been 2 decades, nearly 3 now if I'm to look at the arts and the entertainment scene. If I'm to calculate altogether, I'd say I'm nearly 3 decades preparing for this situation, COVID-19 and Brexit, and it's been offended, and there's a breakdown in communication, and there's a lot of fraud regarding not only the Hippocratic offences but also the offences against health and well-being. And it's very dangerous when the Hippocratic oath is offended. It's quite serious to offend people's health and well-being, but it's also quite dangerous to offend any recovery of health and wealth that I have initiated, and it's quite dangerous for people to take credit for work that they haven't done. Now, the issue of being offended offends COVID-19, and it offends Brexit as well. So those people that approached without proper paperwork or without prerequisites really, I think, overstepped a line and took on a big challenge and a burden that has scarred the society that we live in, and that has hurt other children irrevocably, unfortunately, as well. So the unlawful care orders of my child without a prerequisite of a supervision care order present, and any lies regarding the action or the input of the Garda Síochána with a royal mother. I have royal titles, and it's quite dangerous to offend people's names, but it's even more quite dangerous to offend people's royal titles. So anyone would know this. This is like only common knowledge. So anyway, the hierarchy of needs issue, the issue of employment, housing, social welfare, family matters, health, all of these matters, the country of Ireland and Britain and Brexit, and education and training, all of these are a part of my hierarchy of needs. Now, unfortunately, I'm being offended in the town of my birth, where people have been prospered and people have been protected. People have acted in bad faith and they've offended my faith and my family. So that's quite serious, and it's especially more serious when my child has been offended. So those people that have been monetizing from me and not paying their dues and exploiting my purpose, my credentials, etc., those that have been worsening a bad situation. Like, it's been quite bad already what's happened in the past 4 or 5 years, but those people that are still worsening that situation, coming upon property that they don't belong to, that they don't own, that they're not welcome to, and procuring by ill means and defaming good name and not honouring their debts while offending an innocent child I gave birth to. These are all very dangerous issues. So the issue of the Justice Department, knowing that I'm with the Victim Support Federation as well, and that I'm a royal mother, all of that being offended by people that aren't able to work with the truth, that aren't able to work with the facts, that aren't able to work with proper information, that's not professional. That's not the sign of a qualified, dignified role being enacted in any circumstances that requires more than just the basics, or more than just the, basic standards, the fundamentals. When it's my royal titles that are also being implicated in this charade, this circus in Tralee, County Kerry, that has offended people and people's families. The issue of it being ongoing is quite, it discredits people's trust, I suppose, in the competency of what is expected in a democracy. And as far as I know, we're still in a democracy. But as a royal mother, if people are offending the basic rights, that's bad. But if they're offending protocol and above that and beyond recovery, my legislation that has originated from my experience of Strength and Hopes, people taking credit for legislation they have had no hand, act or part in, people putting their name to paperwork and not consulting regarding the reform and recovery and how Brexit happened. There have been political stances, there have been party opinions, and the origins can't be changed. Some people think they're changing the stage, script and screen to suit themselves, but unfortunately when they're putting their name to what doesn't belong to them, it's quite dangerous, especially if the name that they're using they've offended or defamed, or if they owe a debt to it. So these people, as I've mentioned, are tweaking the mental health reforms, and they're on my farmland, they're preying on my properties, and I'm a married mother. So it's quite dangerous that there wasn't a supervision care order regarding my son, and that there isn't royal protocol being adhered to, and that there is royal practice and procedure expected. So the issue of people that have implicated themselves offending and disrespecting the recovery and the health and wealth that has originated from me, using legislation that I am responsible for and not consulting with me, and tweaking mental health reform to cause me an assault or to cause an offence against me, or criminalising me. And I, a humanitarian that has saved people's health and wealth. People that are trying to criminalise me, I don't know if they know what's happened with the Garda Síochána prior to 2017 and after that, when my child was illegally separated from me. It's astonishing that people would think they're going to put anything on a track record that would put them at risk. So people with bad record keeping or poor record keeping skills, I have huge concerns for all of those that are preying or coveting on my property or for my property or my belongings. So those suffering from mental health illness